Augusta, Arnold Palmer tees off in the Masters, followed by another new master, Gary Player of South Africa. On the last round, the 18th hole sees one of the most hectic finishes in the 25-year history of the Masters. This is Player exploding onto the green after his weakest round of the tournament. He holds out with a 2 over par 74 for a total of 280. Palmer needs only par to win.
The Masters is just the greatest golf tournament on earth, and not only because Bobby Jones and Alister MacKenzie came together to make this grand golf course that has stood the test of time, that they built in 76 working days at the height of a depression when they had no money, is a testament to what they built in that day and age that still is relevant to this day. The land has changed ownership many times, right. Dennis Redmond bought the land from James Coleman and turned it into a nursery and an apple orchard, and he actually bought the orchard property of what had been a plantation up to that point. And several years later, Redmond, after he had built his house there, which is now the Augusta National Clubhouse, he sold the property within just a few short years to the Berkmans family, which was Prosper Berkmans and his father, Louis Berkmans. Baron Berkmans is what he was called. When they took over the property, they came from Belgium and they loved pears. So they tried pears just like they had in New Jersey, the property they owned before they came to Augusta, and pears just didn't work there. They came to Augusta and pears worked a little bit better, but in the long run they found out that peaches was the thing. So that's where Prosper Berkmans got to be known as, you know, the father of peaches. And that's kind of where that peach culture came from. But the Berkmans were geniuses, and they took plant culture to the next level. They were horticulturalists on steroids. I mean, they actually had the drawings and the details of every product they put in place out at the Augusta National, or what would become the Augusta National. It was the Fruitland Nurseries at that point. And they started out with about 25 acres and then expanded it to 100. And by the time the Prosper Berkmans and his 3 sons were really working this land by the turn of the century, 1900, which is almost 50 years later after they took the land and acquired that property, they had 500 acres. They had the original 145 acres that they first bought across the street, and then they had the additional 365 acres that they had purchased from Dennis Redmond. So it was just a magnificent place. And what's interesting to me is the Berkmans are from Belgium, and you know, you've got Alister MacKenzie, and he's from England, and Bobby Jones is from the United States, and even Hernando de Soto. He came to Augusta in search of gold and reportedly walked across that land. And you know, Bobby Jones was in search of golf. And they're just one letter apart, golf and gold. And when you look at them in today's spectrum, what is gold in Augusta today? It is golf. And Bobby Jones, sensing that vision that even Hernando de Soto had from 400 years prior from Spain as a conquistador looking for gold, he named a part of the golf course for Hernando de Soto. It's De Soto pond that during the par 3 tournament on Wednesday, golfers play over. They don't even know, you know, that story, but it's a great story in American history. And 2 centuries later, a geologic survey was taken in Augusta, and out by the current day Augusta Mall, guess what they found? A sliver of gold, a small vein of gold out there. And so the gold was here. DeSoto just didn't find it. But the visionary that Bobby Jones was, he saw the vision in Alister McKenzie, the vision in the Berkmans, and the vision in DeSoto. And each of those people have a special place on the golf course thanks to Bobby Jones and his vision. 60 years ago in Augusta, we were treated to the first of 4 Masters that were won by Arnold Palmer. This young guy out of Wake Forest in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, swept into Augusta, and with his charismatic smile and his Horatio Alger attitude, he went out and won the first of 4 Masters. Arnie set the world on fire when he won. Eisenhower was in the White House. CBS was televising this thing. Let me tell you, Masters ratings went through the roof. Another story that's maybe a sidelight to all this, but a major part of this, was a guy right here by the name of Iron Man Avery. And Iron Man rode all 4, carried the bag on all 4 of Arnie's Masters championships. It was a glorious time in Augusta, and it's interesting how quickly time flies. It's now 60 years later since that first Masters victory. Iron Man Avery here, well, up until recently, he didn't even have a grave site in Augusta. He had a grave site, but he didn't have a headstone. And there is a movie coming out this summer. It's called Loopers, A Caddy's Life. And finally, now, for the first time 60 years later, Mr. Iron Man Avery, in dedication to Arnold Palmer's 60th win, he's got a headstone now at a local cemetery with a caddy bag on the side of it, and it's emblazoned with, caddied for Arnold Palmer in his Masters championships, 1958, 60, 62, 64. So watch for that coming out this summer. It is a great golf documentary, and the golfers and the caddies from Augusta are spotlighted in a section of that movie, a 5 to 10 minute run, where my good friend Ward Clayton, who wrote the book on the caddies at the Augusta National, is featured. And once again, it's Loopers, A Caddy's Life. Bill Murray's in it, Rick Riley's in it. So you've got some famous names and some famous commentators in there, and they add a lot of color and character where they go overseas to Ireland and Scotland and to the West Coast, and just a great movie that you're going to want to see coming up this summer. When I came to town in 1986, Jack Nicklaus won his last major, his 6th major, and it has been a heck of a ride for me. So I always look forward to Masters Week because it's such a special time in Augusta. And over the years, I've seen some really great Masters, including a reign with Tiger Woods. He was kind of the next guy to come in line after Jack. And Tiger now is, after a decade where he's not been dominant at all, he's playing dominant golf again, and you kind of got to wonder, can he win the Masters again? In my estimation, yeah, he can. He's still young enough. All those former champions have such a reverence and a knowledge of that golf course that you only get from playing that golf course time and again. And Tiger's been there. He's also been in that competitive circle with wins on the line, so he knows that that feeling. He's not going to back off a shot because he's afraid to hit it. So he's a guy that you could look at for this Masters golf tournament. Jordan Spieth, can he win? Certainly. Sergio, can he repeat? No doubt about it. Those are probably the big names. Patrick Reed, another guy with Augusta ties, played college golf at Augusta State and helped him win 2 NCAA championships. He's playing really well. He could be a factor. Another grouping I really like out there is an Augusta grouping, and that's with Wesley Bryant, who played his golf at South Carolina. His wife is at MCG now, so he's here in Augusta. He lives in Augusta, and his caddy is William Lanier III. William Lanier III is just an incredible guy because he was a great amateur junior golfer who ended up and went and played golf at LSU with David Toms, who's one of the best golfers of all time, major champion. And he also is a yardage book maker and illustrator. So he comes at it from, and he also plays on the mini tours. So he's a great amateur and college golfer and mini tour professional golfer. And he makes these yardage books and he caddies, and you can't tell me, he lives here in Augusta, right in back of the Augusta National, over in Country Club Hills, and he's got the pedigree to help push a guy like Wes Bryant, who won at Hilton Head last year, into the forefront. So if you got a dark horse and you're looking for somebody maybe that with local ties that you don't know a whole lot about, it's the Wes Bryant and William Lanier III combo out there that's going to be causing a lot of waves. I can tell you this, that William Lanier III has as much fan base in Augusta, and you'll hear as many roars for him, and there's so much more local knowledge about him that he will have a big grouping following him and Wes Bryant around that golf course during this Masters. William Lanier III also was the illustrator for my book, the Augusta National Golf Club, Alister McKenzie's Masterpiece. And I sign a lot of these books every year. It's just a great tribute that I got to do this, a great honor that I got to be able to do this book and to have my buddy William Lanier III, who's now the big caddy out there on tour, doing the illustrations, because he's the yardage book guy, and so he provided the illustrations. But if you'd like to get a signed copy of my book, and actually I've done a couple books, I've got several more coming, but the Augusta National Golf Club, Alister McKenzie's Masterpiece, is available online at augustabook.com. That's augustabook.com. You'll get a signed edition, and it's $25 for even shipping and handling and right to you. So it's a great price because the book sells for $40 all through town and all around the country during the rest of the year. So you're getting the book at half price with, just $5 for shipping. augustabook.com. You won't regret it. It will be a souvenir that you will have for a lifetime.
As everybody knows, Masters Week is huge here in Augusta, and we're no different here at Goodwill and Eggers Grill here. And what we're doing for Masters Week is we're having a select menu of our top entrees, our top appetizers, our top salads that we sell during the year. So we have a condensed menu, and we'll be open for dinner from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night, and we're accepting reservations. And we're planning a really fun atmosphere, great food, energetic staff for a hard day at the golf course. You want to be here a little bit, have some food. We have a beautiful wine list. The team has come up with exceptional wines to go with the food, and specialty cocktails that are here. Local honey being used there, the honey bee they're having. So we use a lot of local products. So our farms are from North Carolina, South Carolina, getting my grits from South Carolina, getting mushrooms and tomatoes here from Georgia. We're getting all our seafood. I just ordered in a whole halibut. So it's a 50-pound halibut that's going to be coming to me Monday morning, special delivery. And that's coming from the Atlantic coast. We have our Gulf shrimp. We have our colossal, we have U6 shrimp. So we're going to do that with our surf and turf. We'll have a nice fillet, and these shrimp are humongous. They're huge, and we're bringing that. So we're showcasing a lot of our menu to our guests that are here in town, that are local, and to our special guests that are coming from out of town. We have a great menu waiting for you, from fish to beef. Our beef is certified Angus. We have some wonderful pork that I brought in, and some domestic lamb. I got racks of lamb. We're bringing out the spread for y'all. So you don't have to be in a suit and tie, and flip-flops are optional. Of course, we're in the South, but we're inspired in an international cuisine with a Southern flair, a Southern twist to it. So we have a beautiful dining room that you can pretty much see around me, and we have an open kitchen. My staff's behind me. We also have outside a beautiful patio that you'll be able to enjoy the beautiful weather here in Augusta. It's fun. It's live. It's energetic. It's a very how would you say upbeat tempo restaurant. We got full bar. We have our local brews, our beers coming from Riverwatch Brewery and Savannah Brewery, so Savannah River Brewery. So we have local beers that we specialize. Again, we're using local honey. I use local honey in the restaurant, in the kitchen, but we're also using it in our cocktails that we're doing. We're actually having honeycomb. I'll be bringing in honeycomb for one of our plates that we're doing. So I'll have that, so the localized honey. Reservation-wise, it's pretty simple, open table. I mean, you're welcome to call the restaurant, but open table would be the easiest way, because that way you can pick your dining experience right there, and you don't have to wait for the phone to be picked up. So you can do it right from your app on your phone. Open table. That's Edgar's Grill. Please come in and enjoy.
So we opened February 24th, 2017, so we've been open just a little bit over a year now. We just had our first anniversary a couple weekends ago. There's two owners that are brothers that opened the brewery, and it's a lot of family working here. One of their sons, a son-in-law, so it's a very family-oriented brewery. Everything's done in-house. We have a little bit of everything for everyone. So we have 5 flagship beers. We have an IPA, an amber, a pilsner, a wit, and a brown. And then we have limited release beers. Our newest addition to the ones like on a large batch system is the Finnezy Swamp Thing, and we're about to do like a hard release on that. We're gonna have 2 coffee beers on draft, and we have 2 versions of the Finnezy Swamp Thing available in the tap room. We're gonna be open Wednesday through Sunday. For specials, we have Students Night is on Wednesdays. Like our regular specials are going to be the specials. So we have Students Night on Wednesday. You get 10% off with your student ID. We have dollar off pint nights on Thursdays. There's also $10 growler fills on Thursdays for 64-ounce growler. On Sundays, we do the $10 growler fills as well. And then we're also going to be passing out flyers around town, and you get $2 off your tab when you bring the flyer in, and we're going to be doing that exclusively for Masters Week. We're kid-friendly, pet-friendly. That's important. A lot of people call and ask. We're going to have food trucks on Friday and Saturday. If people like craft beer, they're going to want to go, like when they visit the area, they're going to want to try to hunt out. That's what I do when I go to other places. I try to go visit as many different breweries as possible. So if you're into the whole craft beer scene, you're going to want to come here. So if we're getting a lot of out of town visitors, yeah. We have televisions that will be playing the Masters. We have a projector, a large screen projector, and then 2 55-inch televisions, and we'll have it all played. So if people don't attend the Masters and they want to come out and watch it, it'll be available.